to the Amazon EU Masters. While I talk gibberish in the break to Jamada, we're getting ready to go into our 6th and final game of the day. It's already done. I don't know where the day's gone, but this is going to be Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition taking on Vitality.Bee Unicorns of Sexy Love Editions. What? Unicorns of Love. It's a. I'm sorry,
are you
Sheepy.
struggling?
I'm sorry, Sheepy. I might have got it wrong for you there, buddy.
We've only done 3 games. How are you struggling, man? It's
they were pretty quick games as well. But anyway, UOL, a team who are first out of the Prime League, have been dominatingly good domestically, taking on Vitality.Bee, a team who coming out of the LFL, as Middlecourt actually put it, a team who are kind of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. They've always been kind of consistently 3rd and 4th domestically. Never really been able to put their stamp on the scene or at the European Masters. So they've got a lot to prove here, and they have one hell of an uphill battle to fight.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for Team Vitality is the simple fact that, well, Karmine Corp aren't here to stop them anymore. I think obviously you could say the exact same thing for LDLC too. We'll see how things obviously progress for both of these teams. I think there are very high hopes for, you know, both of these representatives from their regions, right? Unicorns really, and I say this wholeheartedly, look a step above the rest against the rest of the Prime League. Whereas Vitality.Bee, like you put it, going from Middlecourt, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, always coming, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, never quite at the very top of their game. But looking towards the draft now, enough narrative stuff. We hate that. Unicorns, they go towards that Ahri first pick, and Vitality.Bee, they are immediately going to respond here with what looks like Lissandra, probably Viego. You could always, you know, look towards other AD junglers that can stick onto the target very easily. But we saw this a lot MSI when Ahri rose to pretty much, you know, S tier prominence. The answers always seem to be Lissandra plus Viego, Wukong, things like that. And expect to potentially see Lurox lean on that Wukong here, unbanned. Things like the Poppy also available, but there's not really too much value in locking that one in right now. I think something like that Wukong, or you could even go towards the likes of that Nami Lucian, which we saw work out pretty well last game. On top of that, you could even just go this Sivir, which, I mean, to me, in my head, even though Zeri looks more obnoxious to play against, I think Sivir is just a stronger champion in general. Really enables a lot of diving, moving forward, and right now from Unicorns, a lot of that definitely a possibility with the Ahri, with the Vi now locked in as well on the opposite side for Lurox. Plenty of options for engage and even disengage right now for the Unicorns of Love.
And also that Vi now means that the Zeri has something that can handle it. They do still pick it up for Jeskla. It's a very, very strong pick, and we actually haven't seen it until, you know, well, we saw it in game 3, but we haven't seen it for any of our games today, Jamada. So finally getting our see our first Zeri game of the day. Lulu is still up, so maybe you're going to see Unicorns of Love look to ban that one away. The Yuumi has already been taken away. Maybe force them down the bar a little bit. There is still the likes of the Renata as well. I'm curious to see what this ban phase is going to look like, but I feel like Lulu, Renata, pretty solid bans here for the side of UOL.
Lulu, Renata, you're probably looking at something like Nautilus for Winsome here. Just another form of point-and-click CC to lock down. Zeri could always go the distance, even though you've got the Vi and the Ahri there. The Charm-Vi combination, very, very potent. I think you always want to just get as much as you can stacked in. You do always run the risk of running a little bit too much dive into Zeri, right? In the sense of, if you don't lock her down and she's, you know, free and able to do what she wants, that's always quite scary. For now, though, Unicorns, they've banned away their Renekton, away from Szygenda. Of course, we spoke about Sejuani ban. Lulu ban actually comes out from the Vitality.Bee side of things, so maybe that does force the Renata ban in its stead on the opposite side, and maybe that opens up Vitality.Bee in that right to then go towards the Nautilus themselves, get themselves a faucet for engage. Seems like, though, just 2 top lane bans towards Szygenda's champion pool. I expect to see Vitality.Bee go towards their support pick here for Jactroll.
See what they're going to pick up. It's interesting that they banned that Lulu, so it feels like they have something else in mind. The Renata is still up and available if they want to pick that up, but it is also something that could be scarily used against them. Decide to go for the Rakan. You've already got a little bit of like engage. You obviously got the claw into the frozen tomb. Then you can follow it up with the Rakan. So I'm kind of liking that on this half, but the potential response here, if they do actually lock in this Nautilus for Winsome, that is 2 big point-and-click ultimates to lock members down. And when you got a Zeri and a Rakan, 2 very slippery customers, people that are very hard to lock down, you suddenly find an answer very, very effectively there. They decide actually to go away from that. Maybe it's too much kind of targeted CC. They are going to pick up the Ornn at least for Scarface, but you are right. They could just pick up this Naught, and with Lulu taken away, they could go for the Renata if they like. But they still do have the likes of the Nautilus, the Leona. We actually saw what's her name earlier, the Rel. Been a while since seen the Rel, but the Rel shown up.
Okay, looks like the answer will be the Renata, though, away from that. And I mean, honestly, the options were plenty. I think if they go Nautilus, then maybe they look towards something a little more carry orientated. Something that I imagine Unicorns are still weak side. Maybe something like Scarface, his Gangplank could have been a solid blind option. Nerfed, but still relatively strong. But now I expect Szygenda to go towards something that he can really get his fangs into Scarface on the Ornn with. And I mean, nothing really cuts down the Ornn to size quite like the Gwen does. Only really has Camille for competition on that front. So Vitality.Bee rounding out with Szygenda on a carry, would have thought. I will say off the get-go though, a lot of magic damage coming out of Vitality.Bee's composition. Even though Jeskla, of course, will build all those AD items, a lot of magic damage front-loaded into that kit. It's kind of like, you know, 70-30, like 75-ish% AD. A lot of magic damage comes from that zap as well. Massive. I call it the Spartan laser at this point because that's what it feels like when you see people hit. So yeah, honestly, I think Vitality.Bee could have to worry about that. A lot of the frontliners could look to sort of stack up magic resist quite quickly and be pretty hard to take down, but still, Skeanz Jeskla will deal a sizable amount of physical damage nonetheless. Yeah. Loads of pick tools on both sides. I think this is one of these kind of drafts where I'm going to look towards both teams and just say, where are you going to put your eggs? What baskets are you going to put them in? And how quickly will you be to actually decide to engage? Because I think when you've got things like Ornn, Vi, Ahri on one side, and then especially Rakan, right? So quick out of the gates from Fog of War in particular. I'm really curious to see how Vitality.Bee are going to use their option there with Lissandra as well in back pocket to try and just lock down members of Unicorns of Love here. Specifically the Sivir working with that spell shot. I think Shiganari is going to have to be really quick on the trigger with that. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like this game's going to be very interesting because you expect to see scaling. You've got the Gwen, you've got the Zeri, you've got the Sivir, but you do still have this Ahri on Ruby. And Ruby, as you put it to me when we were doing our prep for today earlier, you said Ruby is the best mid laner in the Prime League at the moment. On this Ahri, you can really enable a solid mid game for your team. So he could genuinely be the bridge for the mid game into late game for Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition. I love that name, so I'm going to say it full as many times as possible.
You know, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Unicorns. A little bit of Jamal the Law before we get into game. I know Caster's talking about Caster's lives. Guys, it's boring. But Unicorns, they're the team that introduced me to competitive League of Legends. Very fun fact.
Really?
Yeah, well, I got involved, you know, 2014 Worlds was roughly when I started to kind of watch it, but 2015 season when Unicorns made their appearance at ULCS. Yeah. I have a soft spot for them.
I've got a soft spot for them as well. I think Sheepy is the like sweetheart of the industry. I absolutely love him. He's such a nice man. And he joined us for the first ever EU Masters as well. He was part of the casting team for that.
Oh yeah, he was.
So it was really cool kind of getting you know his insight because he is coaching this team. And you know, even after all these years, after all these years, he's still very switched on and very knowledgeable about League of Legends.
I mean, evidently so, because he came onto the Unicorn Sexy Edition lineup, took over the head coaching role, and all of a sudden they go from, you know, always kind of being top 3, top 4 to just the best by a relatively large margin. So I think Sheepy will be watching this game eagerly to see how his team will eye up this French representative. Of course, Vitality.Bee, just the LFL as a whole. I think as viewers, you might be getting bored of us saying it. You might, I'm not sure if you quite know this, LFL, they're pretty good at League of Legends.
It's French, they're good at it. They're good at playing this game.
They really are. Of course, Carmine Corp not here to defend a potential 4P, I guess we'd call it at this point. So a new champion will be crowned at the end of the tournament. A lot of people have LDLC down as that favorite. I think a lot of people after that. BDSA, of course, in the conversation. Second place team, but Vitality.Bee, we do look threatening. Kept entirety of the roster from last split as well. Definitely do have the talent and the experience. A solid mix, right? To make the run all the way. But loads of strong teams from their own region that they will have to topple to get to that championship.
Well, looks like Skeanz is actually potentially setting up early onto Scarface. We'll see if they're actually going to go for it. It feels like for now, he's just going to hold fast, and Szygenda's going to shove this wave in. Has still got the Q, as Scarface can just jump away. Skeanz reveals himself on the ward, and with the invisibility, They're going to be sitting chill as Ruby does get a nice little trade-off here onto Diplex. Wow. That's a very nice trade-off onto him.
Yeah, level 4 to level 3. Stats difference as well, especially because since the durability patch, you have to remember, I think the old sum was about every level is worth 600 gold. That phrase is stuck in my head because it's freak. 600 gold per level. Now with the durability patch, levels worth, I've not done the math, but I'd imagine it's probably a lot more than 600. So level 3, level 4 trade, Ruby finding that charm. Really good stuff from him. That could even mean on the bottom side, Lurox won't be able to pick up that Skull Crab for free as well, as he also has bottom side priority from Shiganari and Winsome. It's really quiet first couple of minutes, as you'd kind of expect. I think this would have been a pretty strange game to have some kind of cheese, but hey, Unicorn's one of the innovators, it feels like, of cheese Europe historically. Would have been fun to see it, but right now, quiet stuff. Both of these teams domestically dominant early game powerhouses, realistically. I'm not sure if JQ managed to catch the Prime League finals, but man, Unicorns did not make that finals look particularly close. Schalke definitely did their best, but I feel like every game was in their control, and a lot of it came from Ruby, from Lurox, as a duo pairing up. We'll see if they can do more of that here into Vitality.Bee.
It does feel like, you know, typically, and, you know, barring our Azir Corki matchups, jungle mid is very much the kind of like the duo to set up the team for mid game, and then you rely on that AD carry. That's definitely this meta and the current way the game is played. We'll ignore that Lucian Nami from the last game, but that has been strong all year as well, to be fair. The jungle mid definitely something to kind of keep your eyes on, because they could look to set up Shiganari. They could look, you know, Skeanz and Diplex could set up Jeskla as well. It looks like Ruby just trying to be very active on the map, getting some vision down, spotting out Skeanz, catching where his camps are. A couple of wards have been placed and they've seen them down onto Scarface as Lurox is clearing downwards at the moment. Could turn his attention towards that Cloud Drake. And like you were saying, they did get individually buffed and a little bit of early movement speed early. Really, really nice for especially Ruby and Lurox, who are probably going to be looking to be moving around the map quite a lot.
Look, man, out of all of the dragons as well, Cloud actually got buffed the most. A lot of the dragons got you know, buffed around, I think it was 50%. Cloud Dragon just got its stats outright got doubled. Went from a 3.5% to a 7% combat movement speed. Can you tell that I'm a salesman, by the way? We had a brief look.
You're like the mirror in his bloody book.
I don't think I'm quite that bad. Look, I'll take slander. I feel like Nymera, you know what? Fun game. Ruby has Dark Seal.
Oh no.
Granted, Nymera's probably
Ahri.
watching this. And he's an Ahri. Nymera's probably watching this with a smile on his face as we talk about it. Odds on him tweeting about it if he doesn't buy the book.
Hi. Yeah. Like 92%, I'm gonna say.
I would say 93%, like Council.
Okay.
To be honest. I'm sorry, I had to.
No, yeah, just one up me, it's fine. Oh, Scarface.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna clear the wave here, or at least most of it, but I think this dive still happens. Jactroll's here as well.
Oh, he's done a good job of clearing the wave. Charges away, Jactroll. Can they look for it? Diplex is in the area.
4 versus 1.
They've pulled so much towards him. He's catching onto Diplex. He's looking for the CC. He flashes.
Oh my god!
He survives, but the Ignite will take him down regardless. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they just get a whole bunch of plates.
I'm gonna be honest. Scarface won that mention. To be honest,
Jeskla! They don't need 4 for Unicorns. They just need a Vi.
Solo kill, baby. All right. Good stuff, Lurox. Not quite sure how that one kicked off. We might end up getting a replay of that, I imagine.
Well, I'll tell you how that happened.
Yeah.
His entire team went topside and left him alone.
That's true. Yeah, Vitality.Bee, they lose out. Quite a bit. 4 members that invested for just an Ornn. They don't stick around for plates because they just... I mean, the dive is so inefficient in time because Scarface plays it so well, clears away the wave. Now, Unicorns on the bottom side. There's 3 plates go down into a Sivir. I think next to Zeri, Sivir's been one of those pentakill monsters. Dive onto. Should be okay though.
Yeah. Actually, even through the exhaust, that was a pretty decent trade there for Shiganari. I feel like he wants to reset, but he does have 22 sacks on that Cole left, so he could hang around, but we'll just see Jeskla blind checking the jungle while his entire team are topside. So, yeah, I mean, there's your answer, Jamada. He made a mistake. Pretty big one.
Yeah, I mean, Jeskla doesn't really have much business walking through there. I mean, it's the fact that he kind of goes into the jungle and then paths down. If he was going to cover mid whilst his team were 4-man diving Scarface, would have made a little more sense, but makes that pathing error. Lurox there to punish, capitalize as well. Expect to see a lot of that, by the way. Lurox getting on top of Jeskla with that art key. A lot of additional follow-up on top of it from the Unicorns. They're going to shut him down. Once Jeskla's gone, there are still quite a few damage threats available, but I feel like, you know, that mental war of Zeri just being alive, the mental turmoil, rather.
Turmoil?
Turmoil, I know. English. It's a hard language.
It is, apparently.
That Zeri seems to just kind of bring every time she's on the Rift. It's one that will likely lead Unicorns to want to try and shut it down every single time he gets that late stage of Zeri. Zeri gaming, we like to call it in Twitch chat. It's just very scary, but I think Shiganari on the Sivir will have something to say about it on the opposite side.
Well, Shiganari has actually got himself 3 plates, looking towards that 4th right now. They've got 2 plates in the mid side as well. So this Rift Elt's going to have to be bloody effective, because all of that, it kind of is a bleed-on effect from that top lane dive. Another plate will finally go over to Shiganari. We'll be able to get that gold over to him. Lurox is coming in, and Jeskla made a little bit of poke damage here as Jactroll may just jump in, sent back to his demise.
That was slick.
He just caught that. The charm is going to be held for a moment. Jeskla is going to join his support in the grey screen. We will see a Riftel get summoned in the mid lane, though. So it's going to be a tower for tower, or at least a bunch of plates given over. But it's going to be a pretty quick rotation around, so I think Shiganari should be able to get this.
Yeah, the problem for me is even if, you know, Vitality.Bee were to get a lot of this tower, it really only gives you map control. The gold isn't really that impressive, though.
It's gone so wrong.
Not like this. Not like this, Vitality.Bee. And this is what I was going to say. It's like one of those things. It's like when you see a play happen, for example, onto the Ornn, which we saw earlier on. And it's like, okay, great. You killed an Ornn, but on the bottom side, Shiganari got 3 plates. Gold is just worth more on Sivir right now than it is worth on Scarface. It's not the same value. And right here, this is just nice from Lurox. He just stops it. He's not allowed to cross the wall. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 or pounds, depending on where you're from. And Unicorns just very easily collapse on top of Jeskla because now he's alone underneath this tower isolated. Really great stuff from Unicorns.
Flawless stuff, really, from them. As the basketball stop, I'm not sporty, so I can't tell you what the actual
stop.
You know, when they stop the basketball from going in the hoop, from blocking it. I guess you can do it in volleyball as well. Look, a block. A block is the word I'm looking for. You've seen me. I'm not athletic.
You're killing it today, Jake. You really
I
are.
know, man. I'm glad to be back with you. It's been too long.
Yep, I've missed it. And speaking of things that don't get missed, Unicorns picking up another neutral objective. This Ocean Dragon, which, by the way, is objectively the worst soul in the game now. Cloud Soul's worst soul. Cough. I'm gonna make this a random joke, honestly. Until people believe. I think Ruby gonna have his base interrupted. But Unicorns, so far, all the dragons, Vitality.Bee did pick up that Herald, but gold really only going split in between Skeanz and Diplex, and the kill was immediately traded onto Ruby. And oh, do you know what I see? Oh, well, I see it.
You see Jeskla getting ow. Oh no. Oh okay. No, flash for flash. But that is more valuable for Lurox.
Always. And that was really smart from Jeskla. He kind of held on to that dash over the wall, made Lurox cast the ult. Scarface, we've seen this play once.
Can he survive this time, though, is the real question. No, ooh, but he finds a knock up. He's getting a bunch of damage onto Szygenda, but they will go down. And again, 3 members go up to the top side for a kill, but they don't really get much more. On the other side, Unicorns that love Sexy Edition gonna quite happily get himself a plate in the mid lane.
This is just like Shiganari is just walking around going tower to tower saying, oh, more gold, yum, get in my belly. I will take everything I can get. And so far up 1.8 thousand gold on Jeskla. Jeskla doesn't even have his shield bow completed. Meanwhile, Shiganari is he's almost got PB at 14 minutes into the game. That's absolutely absurd.
He's turning into
just
Batman.
goes to show. Go on.
He's getting filthy, stinking rich, and then he's going to get revenge for Scarface.
That's maybe your best line yet. Like
I
ever,
was worried
actually.
that was going to miss real hard. I'm not going to lie. I started doing uh-oh.
For Batman enjoyers, spot on. For your average Joe, maybe not so much.
Jeskla, no, not like this, Jeskla. Unicorns of Love, sexy edition. They're looking pretty fit, I'm not gonna lie.
You know, I feel like if this is a solo queue game by Vitality.Bee, like top lane would just be like, bot lane, play safe, for God's sake. And I'm just like, I can't play the game. But Vitality.Bee doing what they can to cross map on the top side of the map. It has to be said, we can make as many jokes as we want. Doing what they can to get Szygenda ahead instead, and definitely Szygenda is into a pretty short-range team composition with not too much to stop him, right? Has the Shroud to always deal with the Renata ultimate, so he just kind of has to hold on to that ability to deal with not being berserked away from the target he wants to be hitting, and it's definitely a very valid win condition and path in to still winning team fights. I think the core concern really for Vitality.Bee right now is just Shiganari. It's 2 items already, 15 minutes into the game. He is so damn powerful, and he's always going to have things like the bailout to get him out of danger. Always can have Ruby kite backwards, charm any targets going on top of him, keep his AD carry alive. Same thing for Lurox. There's just so much pill potential for this Sivir, and will always make Vitality.Bee's diving efforts very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and this is why Unicorns of Love have been a dominating force domestically in the Prime League over in the Dark region. They've just been so good at getting ahead and playing to their conditions. Shiganari is going to do his best to hold on to this wave. It is a Sivir, so that wave is going down, and they're bringing the teleport and the go out. They're going to get a knock up onto nobody because Szygenda able to block away for the moment. The rest of the team jumping in. Jeskla instantly annihilated as the charm lands onto Szygenda. Down they go. And it is 2 already dead on the side of Vitality.Bee. Unicorns of Love gonna quite happily just push up into the mid lane. The pings are going down. They have time just to pick up this Herald as well. They got loads of time.
They've got all the time in the world right now. 40 seconds till the dragon spawns up as well. Pick this one up. If they want to reset, they can. Right now, I'm gonna really leave the members that need to be out. I think actually because they commit to this, they could end up being late to this dragon. So maybe Vitality.Bee can get set up around the area. But take a look at the minimap. Diplex, he's resetting. No teleport to come back out onto the map straight away. And even if Skeanz and Jactroll are able to get into the river right now and set up some vision, it seems like Unicorns aren't really going to be too far behind on pace. Although, as I say that, Lurox actually stuck around on the top side. He's clearing away Gromp before he resets, potentially. So that could be a big deal in terms of this dragon setup. Maybe Unicorns just don't care. We'll have to see what the priorities are. And he's not even reset. All right, Giga Chad just wants his Gromp, I guess.
That's on Gromp.
That is on Gromp. He was on Gromp.
He was.
Now he's in the river.
And the dragon has been started. The battle lines have been drawn, but fighting on an Ocean Drake always feels bad because of the slow. If the dragon is on you, you basically are fighting against like half a member on the enemy team, just slowing everybody down. I'd say a full member. As Szygenda will spot out Scarface as dragon's going a little bit low. All the flankers coming in from the side. Lurox may just look for Jeskla over the wall. They're looking for the charm, going to miss out on a bunch of abilities on that Ahri. Charging up the Q is not going to go down.
Herald's charging in the mid lane, by the way, guys.
Reset. The Herald is charging in the reset. Here comes the Ornn. Here comes the overtake of a fight. Jeskla instantly scattered away from everybody else. His Unicorns of Love are just trying to keep themselves alive for as long as possible. 2 kills have been picked up by Szygenda, and Lurox is on his lonesome. Bolt breakers over the wall, and the dragon is Vitality's. They just smashed Unicorns there.
Positive fight for Vitality.Bee because they're able to get on top of Shiganari and Winsome. The disengage tools just weren't quite there in time. Scarface was doing a really good job of guarding some of the flank potential from Jactroll, from Szygenda, but in the end, Vitality.Bee just end up full sending it front to back, and they win out. Even though Lurox got on top of Jeskla, the issue is Szygenda is on top of that Sivir and shredding her. We saw some teamfight damage there on the screen. So much comes out, but not enough to take down the Vitality.Bee members. And they win that team fight, get themselves a dragon, and all of a sudden, this game looks a little more playable from their point of view.
It does, but you do still have a 0-4 Zeri, 2,100 gold behind the enemy Sivir. Experience is equal, I'll give them that.
I do raise you a 2-item Gwen.
Yeah, true. That is scary.
And I'll be honest, as much as I think Sivir is pretty broken, Gwen is immune. And I feel like...
Gwen is immune.
I feel like that might, invalidate any argument he might have against that. So,
there wasn't going to be an argument for me on that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As the game goes, Scissors beats Boomerang.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can see, it's just frontal engage from Jactroll. Lands onto Winsome, and then from that point onwards, Szygenda is just 1v1ing Shiganari. Like, what can he do? He's just getting run over. And even though on the complete opposite side of the river, you can see Lurox is doing a great job trying to lock down Jeskla. Jactroll returns from his frontal engage, heals his AD carry. Lurox is forced to get away from Vitality.Bee. AD carry, who he's been oh so fond of this game. Vitality.Bee pick themselves up that neutral objective for themselves, deny away the potential of that very early soul.
In his defense, he had one job, and that's ult Jeskla. He's done that enough to the point where Jeskla kind of isn't a champion for a bit. So now maybe he has to find someone else to ult, but it feels like you just ult AD carry and Lurox is gone. Okay, that is my job. That is my role. There's high value boomerang blade.
They were sound award. I know it was pretty hot to see.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that. They are looking for Shiganari here. He's,
oh my god.
The chant comes in. Everyone is completely obliterated. What the hell happened? He's just down, and Szygenda will go down as well. Stopwatch, thumbs up. He knows he's doomed.
Dude.
Shut down for Shiganari.
You know, we don't get to see all chat on broadcast as often enough. It's not quite PG. But I can imagine, you know, just for the sake of the meme, that Lurox is just typing XD every time he presses his R key on Jeskla. Just not allowed to play out these team fights, man. Forced away so quickly. I apologize for my giggles, but Unicorns feigning a potential Baron takedown. Gonna spot out a couple of members in that bush, and that should give up the game, give up the gig. And looks like Unicorns will back away. And I mean, even though we look at this fight again, right? Vitality.Bee, they're just looking to get a little bit of pressure. Potentially a dive onto Shiganari, no summoner spells, right? Gets away very quickly, and just immediately Lurox sees red on Jeskla. All of those ornaments just end up following onto him. Aerofrost clips Szygenda, and unfortunately that means that he has to go down. Really good response.
Jeskla hasn't worn out his flash key at this point. He keeps pressing it, and the moment it comes up.
I don't think any amount of summoner spells is going to stop Lurox from pressing his R key on him at this point, to be honest with you. I feel like it's preordained. It's like, you know, water is wet, you know, rain will fall eventually. It just feels like inevitable stuff. Poor Jeskla.
It does feel, yeah, poor Jeskla. I feel his pain, but at the same time, he picked Zeri. He asked for this.
Yeah, no, actually.
Into Vi as well. He picked it into Vi.
You know what? All of a sudden, I'm feeling a lot less bad for Jeskla. you raise a good point.
Oh no! Please
run. Run, Jeskla.
Break.
I mean, this is so absurd. Like 2.7k between the two AD carries. Obviously, you know, Jeskla hasn't been allowed to play the game. Credit to Unicorns, but also credit to giving Shiganari so much gold, so much time and out. Ruby should be all right. Just force out Spirit Rush. Really good stuff. And we should return to a bit of a neutral, bit of a map state. What are you in it? What's?
There's just the Dark Seal in the inventory. Nymeira's a little upset with that one. As Skeanz has to jump over the wall.
Is he going to follow Lurox?
Don't do it. Okay,
like the answer's no, but look at the minimap because it looks like Unicorns actually have first move ahead of Vitality.Bee. Skeanz. Bolt.
He's away. dodging out a fair amount there. He's got the movement speed, but they're chasing him down. Lurox chasing off for a little bit more. Oh no, there's a goat in the bush, Skeanz. You're gonna get yourself CC. Take the hill.
Yep. Goodbye, Skeanz. I don't know. That was a really awkward sequence of play right there. Unicorns should be able to pick up the dragon off the back of it, and it looks like they absolutely will. Vitality.Bee.
You know what?
Just kind of caught sleeping, I guess, in the bottom side of the map. Really hard to tell.
I think so. But I think as awkward as it was, I think Skeanz made the right play. That could have been him and Szygenda going down.
Yeah.
Instead,
no, I agree.
It was just him.
Yeah.
So actually, I think awkward as that play looked, and it was definitely a misposition by them, but led to that. At least the read afterwards was, one of us is going down. Let's just see who gets away.
And this is why junglers are the most selfless players in League of Legends, guys. Let it be a lesson.
Yeah, my jungler never feeds my lane because he never comes. How selfless of him.
Yeah, really good stuff. And you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm kind of wondering, like, at this point, Vitality.Bee, they're only down 3,000 gold. A lot of this is being made up by Szygenda. And I think we can, you know, we can wax lyrical about how good Unicorns have been this game.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like this game, as much as we are joking a lot, and I will say, maybe we should take it a bit more seriously, this game's not really done, because all it really takes is one really good fight from Szygenda. And all of a sudden, Vitality.Bee are certainly back in it. Jeskla just needs more time to catch up with Shiganari. It's a lot of time, because
the problem
Shiganari's
is...
even got himself a Hex Drinker. What's the problem? Hit me with it.
Well, it's not just, yeah, the Hex Drink is one thing, but, you know, Jeskla is down an entire item, but also the Wormfall and Sacrifice on Shiganari as well. So he is got that extra half an item on top of the Kraken Slayer. So he is hard to deal with. A level up, an item and a half up effectively. Well, actually, basically 2 items if you count both halves with that Hex Drinker in there as well. He is hard work for the team to deal with, but they're going to look for him regardless. Oh no, Shiganari, he gets the spell shield off at the right time, and he's able to survive. A trade of Everfrosts means Diplex is going to get himself hit by a charm and lose half his health, but Shiganari used everything to get away there.
That's the impactful thing here from this play. It's that there's no summoner spells now for the next couple of minutes from Shiganari. And if Vitality.Bee can get on top of him again, if they can throw enough at him that the spell shield just doesn't matter, then maybe there's a chance of locking him down, and then maybe you can play out the fight. Because as soon as you remove him from the equation, the fights look a lot more even. I'll tell you that much for free. Look across the lanes right now. It's item parity across the board. The only places where there's discrepancies is Szygenda at 3 items and is Shiganari at 3.5 against Jack Spectre. Jack Spectre's Jeskla's, rather. So I'm looking at the second screen. That's the only place where that item discrepancy exists. So if they can actually pick up Shiganari, all of a sudden these fights look a hell of a lot more even. And now that he's got no summoner spells for the next couple of minutes, that's definitely a pretty big possibility.
Well, 26 minutes on the clock. That gold lead that you're kind of hitting on that hasn't actually grown too much. The problem is that gold lead is on the AD carry difference, and Jeskla, he's not going to get any gold because he can't even get the... Oh, that is so sad. He didn't even get the cannon. That cannon's on like 2 HP.
That's the lowest HP cannon I think I've seen in a while. And now the crucial thing on the back of it is Unicorns are going to get a pretty meaty chunk out of this inhibitor tower. In fact, I think they're just going to get it. Vitality.Bee don't have any wave clear available to them. And it's also an inhibitor after the fact too. Szygenda's on the top side of the map.
Love.
There's nowhere to respond. Unicorns, man. Pick after pick. Jeskla,
I mean, this is
just denied the access to play League of Legends this game.
He just has not been able to play. I mean, Unicorns of Love, respectfully looking edition. These guys are playing super well right now, and it's not Skeanz' fault, but Lurox definitely has just made sure that Jeskla has not had fun at all, and it's been rough for him.
Yeah, this is bullying, right? Like, is this TOS stuff at this point? Like, at what point does it start to, like, do we need to start to get worried? You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I mean, it's not really on us. It's on Laura. So
I tell you, hold on. We're just here to yell at him, man. Like,
all right, let's focus in here. 50 seconds away from this Ocean Soul for Unicorns. Vitality.Bee have to deny this one away, otherwise it's just another buff that they have to deal with permanently. And Szygenda, all Vitality.Bee stacked in this brush. Skeanz popping that mist is actually going to give a little bit of information about where Vitality.Bee could be right now. They are definitely looking for some kind of flank. Again, when you've got a short range composition with something like Rakan, if you can find a snapping gauge out of Fog of War, it's so easy to just collapse on top of it. We saw it once with a front-to-back team fight, and what I'd like to see is Scarface do his best to try and track where Jactroll could be, where Szygenda could be. You saw him doing it at that team fight, which Vitality.Bee actually won earlier on. Vitality.Bee just kind of made the split call to go and engage.
He's down. Oh, you might be right. We might be breaking TOS here. That is just unfair. The Vault Breaker flash ult combo just to pin him down.
Now, Jake, I'm going to make a bold assumption.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Vitality.Bee might start first picking or banning Vi after this game.
I think at least against Unicorns of Love again, this will not be happening.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is going to happen again. Man, oh man, that's Soul as well. Unicorns pick up now. They can kind of just do whatever the hell they want on the map. I will say, the pace of the game itself has definitely kind of, it feels like slowed down, right? There's no immediate Baron being picked up. This is just nasty. I mean, what can you do? Realistically, yeah, flash, shield bow, no cleanse that time. But even if you had,
I mean, that's leave your keyboard, go grab a glass of water and cool off after this.
Honestly, I'm a big Zeri hater, so this is spiritual healing to me. I've much like.
Maybe that's why me and you are in such good spirits right now, because we're just watching a Zeri get clapped.
It's like we've seen so many Zeris like pop off. Both, you know, LEC internationally over in the LPL, LCK, that this just it just feels good. Like seeing Zeri, it feels like watching Zeri, the champion, perform as penance. It's forced penance. Yeah. What can she do? She's just dying over and over. Or it's like the Simpsons meme. You know, stop, he's already dead.
Yes, I mean the worst thing is look at the items between Jeskla and Shiganari right now. There is two complete items difference between these two.
Yeah.
They do technically still scale. They have the Gwen. They do have the Zeri, who obviously scales incredibly into the late game. But like you're saying, items are just so impactful on to your Sivir. But your Sivir can't use them if they're dead. The bailout goes down.
Oh my god.
Oh my word, Winsome survives. The bailout pops and the fight goes wrong. The stopwatch for Shiganari, able to do so much work. Jeskla rejoins Skeanz and dies again. Run over by the Ornn. And this game is Unicorns to take. It went so wrong for the side of Vitality.Bee. Jeskla 0-7 at the end of it all as well. Unicorns of Love show us why they dominated the Prime League, showed us why they are one of the teams to watch coming in to the Amazon EU Masters. 31 minutes on the clock, a couple of kills to pad the stats, and Unicorns of Love absolutely flatten LFL's Vitality.Bee.
Look, this was the marquee matchup of the day, really, right? Yeah. When you looked at these teams on paper, the LFL representatives look so strong. Unicorns, first seed coming out of Prime by a landslide, but this looked like a difference of heaven and earth. This was not a fair matchup at all. It was just really well played, it felt like, from Unicorns, right? From start to finish, every play that they pretty much made went perfectly, as long as it was a proactive play. And for Vitality.Bee, it felt like the investments into Szygenda, well made, sure, right? They got him a really massive lead. Weren't able to ever flex his muscles in a team fight 5v5 outside of that 1/4 dragon fight where, yes, they ran over Unicorns, but beyond that, the same stuff, the same gameplay cycle just continued afterwards. Lurox appeared on the screen of Jeskla, and he pressed his R key, and Jeskla couldn't play the damn game. And Shiganari was just too far ahead that when a 5v5 would eventually happen, he would just win the front to back anyway. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the Unicorns.
Well, good news. We actually have Lurox standing by for an interview after that game. Lurox, before we do anything, What did Jeskla do to you into a former life to deserve that? That was horrible.
Well, he kind of just walked into me a few times, so that was a bit unfortunate for him. But yeah,
What?
I thankfully picked up the free kills.
I mean, that was a very dominating game from you guys. You picked the Vi. Did you just expect them to go for that Zeri, or was that more just like a deterrent? Did you pick the Vi up so they wouldn't pick the Zeri, or if they picked the Zeri, you just had an answer for it?
I mean, we had the Ahri Vi combo, which is like pretty popular at the moment, especially in LPL, for example. And I think it was like 3 ADC spent, and we picked Sivir. So at that point, it was they kind of had to go Zeri. And Zeri into Ahri Vi is pretty rough. So yeah, they were in a bit of a pickle in draft, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think definitely so. You could see it. Thanks for cyberbullying poor Jeskla. I want to ask you about the unicorns in general and your strength coming into the tournament, right? Because I feel like the Prime League as a whole over the last couple of years maybe hasn't met all of the expectations that it's wanted to meet. But I feel like with this unicorns lineup, this could be the year, or the split rather, that you guys, I wouldn't even say play dark horse. I would peg you as a favorite. So how do you feel about, you know, the tournament strength in general? You know, obviously the LFL teams is going to be at the tip of your tongue, but are there any other teams as well, maybe the likes of a Go Rogue, Team Heretics, that you're considering, you know, direct competition when you start to, hopefully for yourselves, look towards those knockouts?
I think it's pretty much just the LFL teams. I guess mainly LDLC, but other than I mean, yeah, I think we can beat anyone. And I think outside of the LFL teams, there's like a clear gap to the other teams. So we are not really scared of anyone, I would say.
So I'll kind of butt in there again on us. Do you think, because I feel like there's the perception that, yes, the LFL teams are the best teams. Do you think, like you said, you can beat any of the teams? Do you think you're above that gap that the other LFL teams seem to have against basically every other region, every other team, it feels like often?
Yeah, I think we are. I think we're on the same level as the LFL teams or above, as you could see in our game.
So I'm going to kind of carry on and just, we've now seen the entirety of your group, Group A. We've seen all of the teams play. Zero Tenacity versus Giants was actually quite close. I kind of want a rough power ranking from you. Do you know, where do you kind of place the teams in your group? I'm assuming you're going to put yourselves first, but you know, who do you kind of put as second, third, and fourth in the group?
I mean, yeah, I would say us first, then Vitality still. I think they're still clearly better than Giants and C10. And then I would say, I mean, from looking at the game, the Giants played with C10, it looks like they're roughly equal, actually. Like it was a bit of a spicy game for Giants. Wasn't really a clean win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say Giants and C10 are going to battle it out for a third.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us for the interview, mate. I'm sure you had an amazingly fun game bullying Jeskla. And congratulations on the win. Hopefully we'll speak to you again in a winner's interview soon. See you later.
Yep. Thank you as well. Bye-bye.
I don't really know where we start with a breakdown on this, to be honest, because I think we've summed it up multiple times. Cyberbullying. It was.
I can't remember we've probably got B-roll ready to
I'm pretty sure we got B-roll already.
Yeah. Do we have the clips? I'm not sure. I mean,
I'm not sure if we're allowed to run it. It might be too violent for Twitch.
But yeah, that was a fantastic game from Unicorns. And it felt like it started from here, didn't it, Jake? You know, there was the 4-man on the top side. Jeskla, he's just looking for his jungle camps. And unfortunately, this is the power of the Vi against, you know, the Zeri. If Zeri skates along the wall, as long as Vi's in range, she's going to follow you. And this felt like one of the few fights that Vitality.Bee really had, you know, the opportunity to play League of Legends. Szygenda 1v1 Shiganari up on the top side, got there in the end. And finally, we started to see why all of these resources were invested into Szygenda, into the Gwen up on the top side of the map. But we never really got to see this again. It felt like every other team fight was perfectly played out by the Unicorns. Anytime we started to see Vitality.Bee want to get proactive like this in the mid lane for the tier 1, which yes, they picked up, they were immediately shut down by the rest of Unicorns collapsing in and making sure that they won't go for any proactive play unpunished.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, every fight starts with Jeskla getting chunked or dying. And this was actually the final fight that kind of decided a lot, and it was Shiganari's stopwatch. Beautiful. Winsome lived thanks to the bailout as well, and then he was able to continue to supply support to Shiganari. And, you know, Jessica's like, oh, wow, I outlived the rest of my team. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm alone now. And then this happens, and the game's over.
I haven't seen an individual player get so hard focused like this in a very long time. It's been a solid while, I've got to say. But man, oh man, Unicorns stamping their authority in this group. I think if you weren't watching the Prime League this split, you would have probably had Vitality.Bee down as the favorites just by default, right? French representative into the Prime League, but the Unicorns have been a step above the rest in the Prime League for a bloody good reason, and they showed off here.
Do you know the sad thing about that chart we just saw? Diplex had done less damage than Jeskla. Jeskla spent most of the time looking at a grey screen, and Diplex just wasn't able to offer anything either because, you know, Ruby was having a phenomenal game on the Ahri as well. Like, yes, we can boil it down to Jeskla had a rough game. Lurox stopped him from playing, but it felt like all the Unicorns to love were playing very, very tight there. And that was just a super, super clean game from them. And, you know, it's been a pretty clean day from some of these teams actually playing today as well. You know, we've had 6 games go through today. I think the second half was way more dominating games, very fast-paced games as well. Not quite what we were expecting. You know, we came into this going, we're going to have scaling. It's going to be a bit slower. We're going to, you know, your Aphelioses, your Zeris, your Sivirs and stuff like that. And yeah, we had that in the last game, but it feels like with a lot of these games, even with that, the beginning of the day, a lot more into the scale and a lot more kind of methodical gameplay, kind of chaos. You know, me and you come in and a firework gets set off of just action and explosions. As we can see the overall standings now at the end of today. Over in Group A, Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition and Giants are 1-0 up, while Zero Tenacity and Vitality.Bee are 0-1. Group B haven't played yet. Group C, we have Heretics and BDS Academy leading the charge 1-0 there. Then you got Valiance Program and SK Gaming 0-1 for themselves. And over in Group D, Dusty are 1-0 up with Game Ward from the LFL, 1-0 up, and then Schalke and Matchco are 0-1 right now. So I'm excited to see how Group B is going to be looking. Obviously, you know, our boys in X7, second seed from the NLC, will be playing over there, but also a Go Rogue, and the big one for me is LDLC as well. And there's another team I've really got my eyes on. You know, we've talked all about it today. LFL are always the region to watch, and we haven't seen LDLC yet. And LDLC are like one of the teams from the LFL every EU Masters that we get.
LDLC have won every part of the tournament they participated in, except for one portion. Knockouts in spring, where they came second to, you guessed it, Carmine Corp. There's no Carmine Corp to stop them anymore. So I think, yeah, a lot of expectations, obviously, on LDLC, as on the LFL as a whole, but definitely very excited to see how Group B will unfold. A little bit biased there, X7 in the group, of course, as well, taking on the French favorite again. We'll have to see how they make that one work, but very exciting day of games. No crazy upsets, I think it has to be said as well. I think all of the results actually ended up going the way that we expected them. I think the only real close to upset was Giants almost dropping that game to Z10. I think Z10, of course, still very much a strong team in their own right and shouldn't be disrespected at all, but Giants shouldn't have let that game go to 50 minutes. It was just a very awkward path to get there.
Well, we've had 6 games today, and we've had only one play that has really impressed us, and that is our 1+ play of the day. So let's see exactly what play it is, because I don't know. I'm about to find out with everyone else what our play of the day is. Let's see what it is.
Oh, it's a Lurox.
Come on.
And the worst part is, after this, you guessed it, Jeskala's getting... Jeskala's getting bullied again. Really great stuff, though, from Lurox. And your screen picks up 2 kills for his team, 1 for himself there in the bottom side, and it was a really sick dodge. Oh, not dodge, stop rather. Block.
Yeah, I think block's the best word. We're getting there. I'm learning sporting terms. It was a good block though. I think, you know what, a well-deserved player of the game, player of the day for Lurox, and you know, he earned it because he was hunting for blood, and that bot side, unfortunately, were in his scope, unfortunately, and he was able to execute Jeskla multiple times, but that block was unbelievably sick. Unbelievably sick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what you wanted me to add to that, Jake. Lurox just had a really good game with unicorns.
Should we have a look at the schedule for tomorrow?
Yes, I think
not
we should.
Not sit smiling at each other. Here we go. Tomorrow we have Matchcove taking on Game World, Valiance taking on Heretics, Dusty versus Schalke, X7 taking on the North Assist, SK Gaming versus BDS Academy, and a Go Rogue versus LDLC. Jamada, what is your game of the day tomorrow?
You know, oddly enough, I feel like the opening game of the day could be a hidden banger. I think if Matchco give us some weird shenanigans again, I'm really curious to see what Game World will actually do to respond with it. I think Matchco may have come into, you know, the tournament with the mentality of, we feel like our group might be a little bit too hard to go at standard League of Legends. Let's play Shaco Heimdinger into every game. So that could be a pretty strong one. Also looking towards the end of the day, obviously very exciting to see how LDLC will kick off their group, of course, in B against a Go Rogue. So I think start of the day, end of the day, two really, really strong matchups that should provide a whole bunch of entertainment.
Yeah, I'm also gonna throw my my ring in the hat, my hat in the ring. I can't remember what the term is there. Ring in the hat, I think. I and this is more just a personal one. X7 versus a North Assist, mostly because it's NLC versus Greece, and I'm curious to see what Trouble's alliance falls. That's for me. That's what I want to find out, who she's supporting. But I am with you. I think that last game is gonna be really, really hype. But that is tomorrow, and that is us done here at the Amazon EU Masters. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for 6 more games of all of the best teams from the ERLs going toe-to-toe. So we'll see you tomorrow.